We ended up having this hiccup, and we agreed that we're going to be creating a blog post right here. And then for our action step, we are going to be visiting a route. And then for our assert step, we're going to assert status code 200, which means we actually found that page, and also assert that we see post title, because that's what we actually have to see on a page that is viewing a post. And then assert that we see post body, and let's just assert that we see publish date. So let's take care of this. For our arrangement step, we need to create a post, right? This is where test-driven development comes exciting, right? So how are we going to create a blog post? We don't have any migrations, we don't have any post table, we don't have anything. How do we create a blog post in Laravel if you want to create a blog post? So you're gonna have maybe a post model, and you're gonna call a create method on that post model, and this create method takes in an array of the data that we want to create, right? So this is where we actually have to decide what is going to have to be on our post table. Notice how it has to make us think. We have no other option. Remember actually creating a migration before thinking what tables have to be in the migration and all of that. But right now we have to think about what fields are going to be in our database table. So first we're going to have a title, and I'm just going to say a simple title. It's going to be the title we're passing in, and we must have a body, and we're going to say a simple body. And we're just going to leave it at that. We have a title, we have a body, a simple title and a simple body for our post. So the action is actually visiting a route, right? So let's visit a route. We're going to say the response, like we always save the response, this, and we try to visit a page using a get route. And I'm just going to say visit post, and we want to view a particular post, right? So we are going to pass in the ID of this post right here. So I'm just going to add a dot right here and just say post ID, or if you want to be more flexible, we can pass this in double quotes, post, then slash post ID right here. Okay, so we're visiting an endpoint which takes in a parameter, and that parameter is the ID of the post that we're trying to view, and then we need to make some assertions on what we expect, right? So assert that we have a status code of 200. We're gonna say response assert status of 200. Now assert that we see the post title, response assert see the post title, right? So we can just call post title right here. So post title. Assert that we see the post body. It's gonna be exactly the same thing like this step, and this is gonna be body. And then assert that we see published date. Now obviously when we automatically create a post, we have a created at timestamp for this, which is going to give us the date that it was created, right? So right here at the bottom, we're going to assert that we actually see that time. So assert see, and we're just going to pass in post created at, just for now. Okay, so that is our test. We are saying create a post, visit a route, assert that we have that route, assert that we see that title, assert that we see that body, and assert that we see that created at timestamp on that page. Okay, so let's run this, and we have an error saying test feature post not found. Now this is where it gets exciting. We have our test, and we need to fix each and every one of these errors down to the last bit where everything works perfectly, right? So how are we going to fix this? Test feature post not found. It's saying this class does not exist. So let's create the class, and we already know we are using this class as a model. So we're going to use Laravel's php artisan command to help us. php artisan make model, and it's going to be post model created successfully. So after taking a little action, we run our test again, and we still have that error saying test feature post not found. But then we know that in the app directory it exists, but then why is it still telling us it's not found? Obviously because we haven't imported it, right? So let's just use app post right here. Let's run our test again after taking that action to fix, and we have a different error saying mass assignment exception for title. So we are mass assigning this data into our model, and Laravel automatically protects the database from that. So how do we fix this? We can create a protected fillable property to specify the database entries that should be mass assignable, or we could just tell Laravel that we don't want any mass assignment for any field by passing in an empty array to the guarded property. Okay, so this has no risk at all. You can actually do this in your production applications. Most of the time you're not actually going to face risk of mass assignment. So let's run this again. Now we have another error saying illuminate database query exception, access denied for home at local host.com using password yes. Now what is happening? Remember, the create method actually tries to save a post into our database. We don't have a database set up. We haven't set up any databases, so it receives that error that we cannot access Homestead. So the easiest way to save this or to fix this is to head over to our .env file and set up our database configurations. So right here for our DB database, I have a database set up for testing Laravel, and my username is root and my password is nothing. So set up your database. Let's run this test again, and now we have an error saying base table or view not found, testing laravel.post. So it was successfully able to access that database, but then it tried to save this to the post table, but it didn't find the post table. So how do we fix this? Let's simply use PHP artisan make migration, and this is gonna be create post table. And just for help out, we can pass in create equals post to that command. So now that we've created our migration, let's run that test again. And then we still have that error saying the base table or view not found. And that's because we haven't migrated to our database, right? Now we can migrate to our database right here by calling artisan call, and we can call the migrate command, right? Laravel gives us the possibility of migrating using the artisan command right here, but then Laravel already gives us a very easy way of running our migrations before our test, and that is simply by using this database migrations test. So use database migrations. So if we try to navigate to the database migrations file, which is in our foundation testing.php, we'll see what it does. It calls this run database migrations method, and what this method does is it migrates to our database, and after everything is destroyed, before the application is destroyed, our testing application, it rolls back the migration. As simple as that. So you see it does exactly the same thing, but just by using this trait, Laravel is going to do everything for us. Okay, so clear. Run that command again. And then we have unknown column title in field list. So it's trying to create a post using the title and the body, but then it's saying the column is unknown. So let's head over to our create post table migration. And obviously we are migrating to the database, but we don't have a title. So let's save a title as a string field, and the name is going to be title. I save that. Remember, I'm trying to fix just the error I just got. I run that again. And then we have an error saying unknown column body. So let's fix that by creating a text field, and this is going to be body. So let's run that again. And here we have not found HTTP exception. That's because if we head over to our test, we have title, we have body, and then we're trying to make a get request to a route that does not exist. So we've successfully taken care of this part of our application, and at the end of running this test and getting to this step, we have a model for our post table, we have a migration for our post table, and I think it's giving us a lot of structure in our application. So let's go ahead and continue doing this in the next episode.